Welcome to this lesson. So we've been looking at the grid template rows property, and we looked at how to use the pixel values and auto values to create different rows. So right now let's look at how to use percentages. But in order to use percentages, you can't have a maximum height property because percentages work well with proper height. Okay, maximum width was fine because it was taking up the entire width, but it's not taking up the entire height, right? So let's just mention a height and let's maybe make it 480 pixels. Right, 480 pixels. All right, so now in here let's try giving percentages rather than the other things that we tried. So let's make the first row. So I'm only going to be creating 3 different rows so that it's perfect for the 6 different grid items and the 2 columns that we created. So the first row is going to have a 25% height of this particular 480 pixel height of the entire container. The second row is going to have 50% in height, and the third row is also going to have 25% in height. So let's save this. So let's see what we have. Perfect. See, so this is only 25% of 480 pixels. So this is 50% of 480 pixels, which is 240 pixels. So this is 120 and this is 120 in height. All right. So this is how you can manipulate the rows with percentages, and just like with columns, you can also use fractions. Okay, so you can use fractions and you can, let's say, maybe give 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. Save this. See, all of these have the same height, but if I make this 2 FR, maybe, see, this has a bigger height. And now if I make this 3 FR, look at that, this has a much bigger height. And let's say I add another row in here, and there you go, you have an extra space that's the same height as the first row. Alright, so this is how you can use the fractions to also play around with relative values, that is relative height values for your rows. And just like with the columns, you can use the repeat property to save a lot of time. Let's look at that now. So I'm going to be using the repeat property to create, let's say, 3 rows, and each are going to have 1 FR in height. See, similar. Okay, even if I give 2 FR, it's still going to be the same, because as I told you, fractions is actually relative positioning, relative dimensions. Okay, but on the other hand, if I make it maybe 2 columns have 2 FR and the third column has, let's say, 5 FR. Give a space. So we're creating 2 columns with 2 FR in height, and the third column is going to have 5 FR. There you go. 2 FR, 2 FR relatively, and there is 5 FR. Perfect. So this is how you can use the fractions to give different values as well. So that's it for the grid template rows property. Let's look at other properties in the next lesson. I'll see you there. Thank you.